Okay, so Indigo and I just had an incredible, very, very, very good, I would say part one conversation to, our first, I don't know, podcast, fireside chat, Motivation Monday, whatever we're gonna call it. But she touched on something in the last video called preparation. She was explaining the importance of preparation, and it really stuck out to me because I feel like that's something that I can add into my world and into my routine and that I need. And so, Indigo, can you talk about what preparation means to you and what were some of your aha moments in today's conversation or even after when we talk about preparation? What do you think of?
Yeah, I think preparation for me is so much more spiritual than it is like an actual mental or physical practice. And so when it comes to preparation, I think a lot of the times I get so distracted with what's going on in my world and all these different projects. Like, I'm going to be honest with you, I'm never someone that takes on one project at a time. And I do understand that directed focus on one thing is so important. But I think just where I'm at in my life, there's so many moving factors. And so, for example, the Indigo Collective, there's so many moving factors around the Indigo Collective that when I started developing the app's interface, I was like, how do I want this thing to look? And I got to a point where I was like, it's too much. I can't do this. I'm not capable. And then I took a step back and I literally just went within myself. I turned the world off and I said, how can I prepare myself mentally, spiritually, and physically right now in this moment to take on the task? And I've said this so many times. Every project is too big to take on. Every single project is too big to take on. How can I break this down into bite-sized pieces and how can I execute? And I think that ties into business so well as well. Like, I found myself a lot of the times like asking myself like, what can I do to be successful? And I said, what if I reposition my perspective on what I'm asking myself? What if I were to ask myself, what are the things that can drown my business? And I set that list out and I avoid that at all costs. Because I think a lot of the times we're like, what do I need to do to be successful? And then in the doing, we're like, oh, this is not going to work. That's not going to work. Shouldn't try that. And I think if we just change the narrative, if we change the perspective, we're innately preparing ourselves to take on the project at hand.
Wow. I love that. I had an old leader and he used to always talk about pitfalls, and that's like the what not to do.
Yeah.
Right? So we talk about so much of what to do. Like, what about the what not to do? I love that. So I want to go back for a second. You said spiritual preparation. And it reminded me, I did this whole ayahuasca journey. That's a whole other conversation. Very interesting. But what that taught me, and one thing that I took away from that, was this idea of before you walk into a room or before you go into a place, there's two ways that you can prepare yourself for that and protect yourself. And that's when you're being around other people or you're doing things or you're going out and accomplishing things. And the two ways that you can do that are, one, you close your eyes and you breathe and you envision a white light coming right here and you surround your body with it.
Yeah.
And you wrap yourself all around in this white light before you go out into whatever.
Yeah.
And I think that is so important. That's my favorite one. The second one was to surround yourself with mirrors.
Yeah.
So whatever energy people are putting towards you just reflects back to them.
Yeah.
It's also
I love
very
that.
good.
Yeah.
So I always think of those when you were talking about, spiritual preparation. It reminded me of that kind of like ritual that I have. But what else do you think in terms of preparation? Like, what are some things that, because I think you're so good at it, what are some things that you do fitness-wise, business-wise, life-wise? Like, what does preparation in the actual day-to-day look like?
Of course. So I always say, have you ever tried to pray and have a conversation with a person at the same time? It's nearly impossible.
You can't do that, yeah.
It's two conversations at once. And so I see preparation as a prayer to myself and God. Like, I'm in the practice of prayer.
Yes.
And that requires some discipline. That's saying, Indigo, you need to shut up. You need to stop talking to your demons. You need to stop talking to your doubts. You need to stop talking to the people that are telling you that you're so incapable, and you need to focus on you and God and that compass. And that is how I prepare myself to take on any challenge.
Wow.
I can't pray and have a conversation with somebody at the same time. It's impossible.
Wow.
And so I stopped talking to all these little things that are trying to distract me or tell me I'm not good enough or tell me that I'm not worthy of being in this space. And I think it's hard for anyone because sometimes those voices are louder than my discipline. But and this is where spiritual practice and discipline comes in, like doing the reps daily to build that discipline.
Wow.
I think another great one is, it's a form of journaling, but every day I write a letter to myself and it starts off as Dear Indigo. And I speak about the things I want to achieve. I speak about the things I really enjoy doing that are outside of business and training. So for example, I love writing poetry, little stories, sometimes even songs that I probably will never put music to, but I tell myself it's a song. And so if I can take out 30 to 40 minutes in a day and do the things that I enjoy outside of the daily tasks, it just makes the tasks so much more enjoyable, you know? And so I think, again, changing the narrative, changing the perspective. But Breezy, tell me, how do you prepare for your tasks at hand in fitness, business, your personal life?
Yeah, I mean, in several different ways. So I would say first, like, for me, I have to emotionally be okay before I do anything. So what that looks like is my morning routine. Well, first, when I wake up, I have to make my bed. I have to, to me, that's preparation for the day. And then my morning routine is based on this book called The Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod. And it's 6 things that you do every single morning. And they spell out the word SAVERS, SAVERS. That's the acronym to remember them. The first S is silence, which is meditation or prayer every single morning. The second is affirmations. And there's one I love on YouTube. It says, like, it's gratitude affirmations. Thank you for my hands. Thank you for my feet. Thank you for my eyesight. Thank you for the clouds in the sky. Thank you for fresh fruits. Definitely go watch that one. And those could also be I am affirmations that you're speaking out loud into yourself. The third thing is visualization. So having a vision board or a vision binder and looking at that.
Yeah.
E for exercise, R for reading, and then the last S is scribing, which is journaling.
Okay.
So I think that routine is my preparation for everything else.
Yeah.
And then the preparation for individual tasks, like if I have a meeting or if I have to go and do something like my trip, I incorporate that actually into my journaling in the mornings in terms of what I have to do. And I also will talk about kind of what's holding me back or what I feel like is emotionally weighing on me, so I can release it and move on to the things I actually want to do and need to do.
I love that. And when we had just met, Breezy was running all of our team meetings for Just Coach. And I think, Breezy, I've always wanted to ask you this, like, how are you so good at managing everyone? Like, everyone was always delivering on their deliverables, and like, you weren't the pushy kind of mean boss, but you were like, I'm present, but you need to get it done type of boss. And you were so good with that. And to be honest, we weren't even in person at that point. Like, we were all scattered around the world. Like, how are you so good in preparing to manage the people that work with you?
Yeah. You know, I have two ways of my strategy on this. And so one, I worked with a few really good leaders over the years, and one of them that I admired most, he came into a business at the time I was working at that was a failing mortgage company. Well, let me say, it wasn't necessarily failing, but it wasn't doing well.
Yeah.
In our department, they had gone from like 100 employees to like 30.
Wow.
Yeah, it got really bad. It got really bad. And I watched him actually scale that to over 300 employees. And he also scaled all the other departments aside from the sales department that I was in. So it was a much larger change than just how it affected my department.
Yeah.
And what I noted from him, it's a quote that I talk about, it's in my book actually, but he always would say you have to put the boat in the water to know where the holes are.
Oh, come on now, I love that.
And so if you notice, like, sometimes I'm really quick or I don't care about a lot of like detailed things. I'm just like, can we put the boat in the water? So I always like, how do we get the boat in the water?
Yeah.
And so everything that I'm asking or I'm pushing about is for that. And then his organization of meetings and how he would have all department hands or everybody all together to start out the week and talk about what they were going to accomplish that week. and if they're having any roadblocks or they need any help with anything, and just getting everyone all together on one call at the beginning of the week.
Yeah.
And then having recurring department meetings every single week creates the accountability for everyone within themselves.
Of course.
Because if I'm getting on a meeting saying what I'm going to do this week, and then we get to Friday and I didn't do any of those things, like at some point it's going to kick in and be like, oh girl, I got to do the work. Right? So if you're someone like Indigo that actually prepares and does the work as it comes throughout the week, or if you're a procrastinator and you get to Thursday and you're like, shit, she's going to ask me on Friday, like either way they're both getting the work done. Right? Which is what I need. So that goes into the self-management. And then I also had a boss when I was younger that was like extreme micromanaging type.
Okay.
Extreme micromanaging. Like he sat me right behind him, our backs were to each other, and he would just turn around periodically and be like, what are you doing? What are you working on? And I think that gave me a good kind of business trauma.
Yeah.
Because now I ask myself all the time, like, what are you doing? What are you working on? And so I politely do that to people on my team of like, hey, how's it going? What are you working on? And so everyone gets used to, or at least I hope has gotten used to, a cadence of me politely asking what you're doing.
Yeah.
And it's not for me to actually care about what you're doing, because you can just lie to my face and tell me you're doing something else, right? But when you start asking yourself, what am I doing right now? Like that's really important.
Yeah.
So it's more so my little like psychology tricks to help people self-manage a little bit better based on what's helped me self-manage. Because at the end of the day, like what I'm asking everyone to do are the things that I've done myself. Yeah. So I hope, does that answer your question?
It so answers my question. I think we were sprinting for the last 3 months.
Yeah.
At like Godspeed.
Oh.
And I was like, how the hell is Breezy managing all of this? But I think it also came down to like what you said, like go in within yourself. And I think our team members have been really good at that. I think I've really been surrounded with 18 players to the point when I got in, I was the youngest. And if anything, I think I was the least experienced as well. And it just pushed me to like just do the work and go above and beyond to make sure that I was up to scratch, up to date. Like how do these tools work, you know? Some nights I would sit in Breezy like briefs at like 2 a.m. I was like, hey Breezy, here you go. And she was up and I was like, of course she's up. And sometimes, you know, that's what sprinting looks like. And I think it's just like your mindset has to be, I want to be an A team player, even if I'm a B team player or C team player right now. Like if I want to work with 18 players, how do I, within myself, become an A team player? And let me tell you something, that process is not pretty. And it's never ending as well, because people at the top are constantly collaborating and evolving, which means you need to get into the mindset of I need to constantly collaborate and I constantly need to evolve.
Yeah, I love that. And when you were just saying that, it reminded me of something else, and I want to share this. It's imposter syndrome. And I never talked about this, but I definitely had it when we first started meeting. So to give some background, basically my business partner assembled this team of really incredible people, and the team had already been built, and then he added me as his business partner. And so I walked in, or well, I guess I Zoomed in or Google Meeted in. I got there digitally. And I'm looking at this team and I'm just like, oh my gosh, like he picked me too? Wow, these are some really incredible people. And I totally had imposter syndrome when I first showed up, like, oh my God, they're so smart, they're so beautiful, they're so qualified, they all work so hard, they're so fast, like, and it was just a lot of thoughts of like, oh my gosh, am I good enough? And should I be here? And is this like really me? And what it taught me is like, one, just showing up and being yourself, because I think somehow you guys just saw me for me and accepted me and found beauty and strength in me as me, not in anything else that I needed to become or anyone different. It was really just my authentic self of like, okay, she's good at this, she's good at this, she's kind of crazy with this, but like cool, you know? So I think just, you know, for people that have imposter syndrome or feel it at any point, like that's actually a really good indicator that you're in the right room.
Oh, I love that, yeah.
Because that means you're growing and you're stretching, and you're probably really likely to do some pretty amazing things because your body and your energy is telling you, hey, this is a level up.
Yeah, I love that.
And it doesn't mean you're unqualified. It means you're just recognizing that you're about to grow, and that's a beautiful thing. So I hope, you know, you know how much I love you and respect you and think so highly of you. And
Same here, girl.
yeah, I got in that meeting, that first one, and I was like, oh, whoa. Look at these girls. Oh, gosh. Okay.
I got into the meeting and I was like, is this the right meeting? Like, am I on time? Because that's exactly how I felt. I was like, I'm the youngest here. I'm like qualified in my area of expertise, but these ladies, like, this is like world class. Like, I'm not even joking. These are like A team. And to be honest, the first few months was like so uncomfortable because I'd been working my actual like paying job, and then I was working on this vision with Akil and you, and I was like, I want to be like Breezy one day. Like, she's a badass. She's such a beast. And you unknowingly stretched me in ways I never thought possible. I was like, yeah, you can stay up like a 16-hour workday. And then I'd come to Cape Town, and I remember we were all sitting down there, and I was like, how the hell are these people still going? Like, what?
Yeah.
And so I think imposter syndrome is just a symbol, like you said, that you need to level up. But in that comes a lot of stretching and discomfort and uncertainty, and like growth doesn't come from the comfort of life. Like, I wish it did, but it doesn't. No. And I'm like, how do I befriend discomfort? How do I befriend uncertainty? How do I stop giving value to the things that the world gives value to, that innately controls our minds, like time, money, energy? Like, these are constructs that control us. And like, how do I let go of that, and how do I stretch myself to be successful?
Well, and the answer is easy. You need to get comfortable being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
You have to. That's the only way you're going to become more and better and bigger, is if you get comfortable being uncomfortable. Everything that we're talking about, all of these business moves, all of these fitness moves, all of the things that we've done to stretch ourselves, were all uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It was all uncomfortable. You have to be comfortable in a state of uncomfortability. Is that a word? Uncomfortable. Yes. Get comfortable being uncomfortable.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
It's not sunshine and rainbows all the time, and there will come a day where there is. And I always say, like, if you ever get to a point where you think you have it all figured out, you're destined to fail.
Yeah.
There's always room for growth. There's always room to learn. And so in saying that, I think also just keep fighting the good fight.
Yeah.
Like, it's going to be uncomfortable. You're not going to know how it's going to work out, but I promise you, you put in good energy into the universe, you treat people well, like, success is ordained to you. Like, it will come back tenfold.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Success is ordained to you.
Manifestation. Breezy, we're going to start saying that every day.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love this. Okay. Anything else?
I think that's it for me. What about you?
I think I'm good. That was a great little spin-off. I look forward to many more.
Girl, we're gonna have so much fun.
Yeah. We need a diagram for all these little.
I don't even think if we had a whiteboard in front of us with the topics at hand, we would follow it.
No.
Even if we had a teleprompter, we would not follow it.
No, we have something better.
Pause the teleprompter. Yeah. There's a team behind you just don't see them.
We'll come back to that. I love it. Thank you for another chat.
Love that. Thank you. Thank you, team that's about to watch this.
Yes. Mwah. See you soon.